Qianyu woke up in the snow and found himself transformed into a child. While he was still puzzled, a shattered beast quietly appeared behind Qianyu during a crisis. Qianyu activated the night system to obtain Amazon drives and cells. After successfully defeating the collapsing beast, he ran out of energy and fainted in the snow. After being seen by Gefei, he adopted Qianyu as his younger brother. Chapter 1. Birth in the Snow, Beginning of Hell. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A 3 or 4-year-old child is sneezing and looking around in confusion on a snowy area in Siberia, Qianyu. Why am I in the snow? Have I traveled through the snow? That's right, he is the protagonist of our book, Qianyu. It is a protagonist born from a reader. Qianyu also noticed the changes in his voice and body, and his emotions turned into a child. Forget it, just be a child. It's better than becoming some strange creature. Qianyu took a sniff and looked around at the vast expanse of white, with no households at all. Good guy, it's amazing how you turned me into a child when you put me through this barren land. But the travelers have systems, right? The systems. After waiting for a while, there was still no response. The front wheels don't turn, and the back wheels turn around. There was no movement either. Qianyu didn't give up. He thought his opening method was wrong, so he tried many summoning methods and the system didn't appear. Okay, it seems like I have no connection with the system. Forget it, let's first find out if there's anyone here. Qianyu shrank his neck and walked forward in a random direction in the vast snow. Qianyu dragged his young body forward, hoping that a family would appear in front of him so that he could stay overnight. Otherwise, he would have frozen to death on this snowy ground sooner or later. But Qianyu did not notice the danger behind him and continued to move forward. Is this just so desolate here? There's not even a single person. Qianyu looked at his frozen red little hand and continued to move forward, but the next second, Qianyu felt a huge force hitting him towards a nearby tree, and Qianyu felt that his internal organs were about to be shattered when he saw clearly what kind of creature was attacking him. Qianyu's pupils shrank. Surprisingly, the creature attacking him was a tank-level collapsing beast. At this moment, he finally understood that he was dressed in the most dangerous world of collapse. Qianyu's heart was half cold. He didn't expect to wear it into the world of collapse, but now is not the time to think about these things because the collapsing beast in front of us has already raised its right hand, preparing to kill Qianyu in front of us. Shit. I was born in the snow and was ambushed by a collapsing beast. Today's luck is really bad. Qianyu barely avoided the attack of the collapsing beast. He glanced at the collapsing beast and then ran away. The broken beast is chasing after Qianyu, and it's only a matter of time before his injured body is killed. It's better to fight with it before death than to die in frustration. Before Qianyu could stop, he was slapped again by the shattered beast and fell to the ground. Qianyu's blood turned red in the snow. At this moment, he had no strength to resist anymore. He watched in despair as the shattered beast walked towards him step by step. Are you going to die just because you came into this world? I'm not willing to accept it. Detected that eligible hosts are being bound. Binding successful. Detected that the host is on the brink of death and automatically opened the bound gift package. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Amazon Omega driver and Amazon cells. Amazon cells have automatically fused. The system voice fell and the wound on Qianyu's body was rapidly healing. At this moment, the attack of the collapsing beast also fell towards Qianyu. Qianyu flipped over to avoid the attack of the collapsing beast, and then took out the Amazon Omega drive and carried it around his waist. Twisted the left handle of the driver by hand. Omega, Amazon. A powerful green steam erupted from Qianyu, and when the steam dissipated, a Kamen rider appeared in place. His full body armor is green, his chest armor is orange, his compound eyes are red, and his head is composed of hooked compound eyes and sharp horns. Qianyu clenched his fist and let out a wild roar as he rushed towards the collapsing beast. Qianyu's brain told him that he was very hungry now. Chapter 2. Eating the collapsing beast raw and being adopted by Siegfried. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Roar. The collapsing beast roared as it looked at Qianyu rushing towards him, raising its hand to knock him down. However, he was no longer Qianyu, but he was a very hungry Amazon. Qianyu caught the hand of the shattered beast, and the blade on his arm bounced out, cutting off its arm. Purple blood splattered across Qianyu's face. I also sprinkled a lot of fresh broken beasts on the ground, making painful cries. The smell of blood is very strong, but Qianyu remained expressionless. He opened his mouth and bit a piece of meat from the arm of the shattered beast, chewed it in his mouth, and swallowed it. In just a few seconds, the arm of the shattered beast was eaten clean. The unique purple blood of the collapsed beast flowed out of Qianyu's mouth. At this moment, the opposite collapsed beast looked at Qianyu, who looked like a monster in front of him. It didn't understand why the human had just become like this. A feeling that had never been felt before swept through the body of the shattered beast. Watching Qianyu's face full of food, the shattered beast ran towards the distance without any hesitation. It thought Qianyu couldn't catch up with it at its speed, but it still underestimated Amazon's speed. Qianyu threw the bone aside and walked away. In no time, he came to the side of the shattered beast, jumped onto its body, raised his fist high, and smashed it towards the collapsed beast below, completely losing the strength to resist. Qianyu jumped down and pulled off the other 3 limbs of the shattered beast, opening his mouth to eat. After eating the 3 limbs, Qianyu used his arm blade to cut open the belly of the shattered beast and prepare to eat its internal organs. The snow all around was stained with purple blood, and Qianyu did not stop his movements until he finished eating the entire shattered beast. Qianyu finally regained his senses and looked at the shattered beast meat in his hand. Thinking of his recent performance, Qianyu didn't feel any disgust at all. Perhaps it's because of Amazon cells. He doesn't dislike eating spoiled animal meat, and even wants to taste what human meat tastes like. Qianyu quickly shook his head to dispel this dangerous thought. Qianyu lifted his transformation and wanted to find a family to stay overnight as soon as possible, but his physical strength couldn't support it anymore. Qianyu fell in the snow with a black head in front of him. Before fainting, Qianyu saw someone running towards him. Now he finally didn't have to worry about being frozen to death in the snow. "Hey, kid, are you okay?" Gefei quickly came to Qianyu's side and saw that Qianyu was covered in blood. He quickly checked his injuries, but strangely, Gefei did not notice any wounds on Qianyu, and how could there be children in this icy and snowy place? "Forget it, who made me kind-hearted? You're lucky enough to meet me, Siegfried. Otherwise, this ice and snow will freeze you to death sooner or later. Coincidentally, Qianyu wants a younger brother." Gefei took off his coat and covered Qianyu's body, running towards his cabin. After a long time, Qianyu slowly opened his eyes. "Where is this?" Qianyu looked at the ceiling in confusion. "Ah. When you wake up, wait for me to call Dad over." Qianyu looked up and saw a white-haired bun running towards the door. Soon, he brought a middle-aged man with white hair to Qianyu's side. "Are you feeling uncomfortable when you wake up?" Gefei handed the hot water to Qianyu. "No, thank you for saving my uncle." Qianyu took a sip of hot water and drank it. "By the way, children, why are you alone in the snow? Where are your parents?" "I don't know where my parents are," I joked while traveling through time. "How do I know where the original owner's parents are?" But to answer Siegfried's question, I still made up a lie. "Is that so?" Gefei felt that Qianyu's parents had probably been killed by the collapsing beasts outside. Thinking of this, Gefei touched Qianyu's head as a consolation, but Qianyu didn't understand why Gefei touched his head. "Since you can't find your parents, then you can follow us from now on." Gefei thought for a moment and finally decided to keep Qianyu. Qianyu raised his hands and feet in agreement. "After all, you can see the white-haired bun every day. Why not do it?" So Qianyu succeeded in staying, but he was younger than Qianyu and needed to call her sister. However, it wasn't a big deal. Qianyu didn't care about calling him his sister, and Qianyu happily shouted, "I'll be my sister after I have a younger brother," and so on. Qianyu smiled and drank the hot water before going to bed. After all, he was too tired. Chapter 3. Gefei leaving. new student of Qianyu College. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Qiyu and Qiana's training today cannot be relaxed either. Gefei picked it up one by one and took it outside. The blizzard had already stopped, which was perfect for training Qiyu, and Qiana reluctantly started practicing gun fighting with Gefei these days, although gun fighting was not very useful to Qiyu, but as the saying goes, having more skills doesn't weigh you down. Besides, gun fighting skills are quite strong, so it's still necessary to learn them in recent days. Qiyu has also gained a lot of knowledge about the system's functions. Its main functions are lottery and shopping mall, which are only available in categories such as Amazon, Old and New 10-year nights, and Extreme Fox. A lottery requires 5,000 or 10 times, which is 50,000. The items drawn are all random, which may be the main/secondary cavalry drivers, other items, or miscellaneous level drivers. Amazon Omega drives and Amazon cells are very rare. For example, there is a 79% chance of producing a miscellaneous level driver, and there is a 16% chance that the secondary cavalry will have a 5% chance that the main cavalry will have a 5% chance. So this thing has to rely on its face. The quickest way to complete system tasks, real tasks, and monster battles is to defeat monsters. If you want to become a knight, lower level collapse beasts give 100.300, upper level collapse beasts give 1000, and the lawmaker gives 5000. You can choose to defeat or kill them, and there's no need for me to say more about them all. The system's functions are just that, although simple, they are sufficient. Alright, today's training is over, you two should come over for dinner soon. As soon as they heard the meal, Qiyu and Qiana looked at the burnt toast together. Is this thing really edible? Well, this is a good question. Qiyu took a piece of toast, looked and smelled it, and finally took a deep breath and took a bite. Yo, cold toast, 99% rare object. Qiyuan's face was very ugly, but he still forcefully swallowed this coal-like thing. Is Xiaoyuan delicious? Qiana looked at Qiyu with a pair of watery big eyes, and Qiyu was instantly adorable by Qiana's appearance. It's pretty good. Really, has Dad's cooking skills improved? Let me try it, said Qiana as she picked up a piece of toast and prepared to eat. Qiyu quickly took it over and put it in her mouth to eat. Just as Qiana was about to bite it, Qiana looked at him in confusion, not understanding why Qiyu had taken his toast. Sister, this is so delicious. I still want to exchange it for you to eat, Qiyu said as he took out 3 bowls of covered rice from the system space. No points for rice and some regular foods. Gefei saw it and didn't say anything, just understood it as Qiyuan's own ability, and this is not the first time, but the food has improved and it's also good. But Qiana doesn't care about these things. As long as there's something delicious and her dad and Qiyu by her side, she feels the happiest. Qiyu and his 3 companions finished 3 bowls of covered rice in no time, and the lunchbox was buried outside by Qiyu. After burying, Qiyu climbed onto the bed next to Gefei and Qiana. Qiyu, who was next to Qiana, was excited for a while before falling asleep. The next day, Qiyu came up and saw Qiana's small face facing him. Qiana's exhaled heat made Qiyu realize that he was too close to Qiana. Qiyu blushed and got up from bed to calm down, but he also noticed a problem. Gefei was missing. Qiyu searched around the house before he was sure that Gefei had really left. I'm going to wander with Qiana in just a few days, sighed before waking Qiana up. It's Xiaoyuan, where's the stinky dad? Qiana rubbed her eyes and wondered where the Siegfried man was. Uncle Gefei may not be able to see him again after he leaves. Qiyu pondered for a long time before deciding to tell Qiana about this matter. This time, Qiana didn't speak. She lowered her head and didn't want Qiyu to see her crying. Qiyu gently held Qiana in his arms and comforted her softly. It's okay, sister. And what about me? I'll always be by your side. Listening to Qiyuan's words, Qiana couldn't help but cry anymore. Qiyu also gently patted Qiana's back to comfort her. It took a long time for Qiana to stop crying. She and Qiyu took some important things and left their small house to wander around the world. A few years later, sister, stop sleeping. We should go to school now. A young man with white hair and purple pupils pulled a young girl with white hair and blue pupils out of bed. Can Qianyu let me sleep a little longer? I'm really too tired. No way. Do you want us to be late on the first day of school today? Anyway, I don't want you to hurry up. I'll wait for you outside. Qianyu closed the door and waited outside for Qianyu to come out. Okay, Qianyu yawned before slowly getting up to wash her face, brush her teeth, and put on her shoes. Qianyu walked out of the room and saw Qianyu waiting for her at the door. Qianyu handed Qianyu the steamed bun in his hand and then grabbed Qianyu, riding a jungle raider to Qianyu Academy. After a while, Qianyu stopped at a magnificent college and gathered the forest robbers to bring Qianyu to their grade classroom. Chapter 4. The Suburban Governor's Collapse Beast, Second Hunting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qianyu and Qianyu found a seat to sit down and wait for the teacher to come to the classroom. After a while, a middle-aged man with half-white hair in a suit and shoes came to the classroom. Hello everyone, I am your homeroom teacher Shirley. You can call me Teacher Shir. I am in charge of the Chinese language subject. Alright, that's all for now. Let's start classes. You can choose your own class monitor. After introducing himself, Shirley picked up his Chinese book and opened the PPT courseware to begin his performance. After 40 minutes, the bell rang for the end of class, and Shirley did not pause. He withdrew from the PPT courseware, put away his belongings, and walked out of the classroom. In the next class, except for Qianyu and Qianyu, a group of people will start discussing the class monitor. Sister, it's already class. Qianyu gently shook Qianyu up and handed her the prepared chicken roll. Xiaoyuan, you and I really have a deep connection. At first glance, Qianyu's stomach was empty, so Qianyu's chicken roll naturally fell into Qianyu's mouth. Have you heard that Thunderbolt Longma from Me Society was arrested for fraud, with a fraud amount of $3.4 billion? This Thunderbolt Dragon Horse is so damn. I remember he seems to have a daughter who is the Thunderbolt Queen Thunderbolt Yai from our school. Then I'm too unlucky. It's really unlucky to be in the same school as the criminal's child. The two girls whispered as they passed by. Hey. Even if that Thunderbolt Dragon Horse is guilty, what did his daughter do wrong? Qianyu couldn't bear to listen and stood up to confront the two girls. Did we say anything wrong? The daughter of the criminal will become a criminal when she grows up. The two women replied to Qianyu with a straight and angry voice. Oh. May I ask if you have any substantial evidence to prove that the criminal's daughter is also a criminal when she grows up? If not, why do you think so? Are you a worm in her stomach? Qianyu suppressed the idea of taking out the drive, as it was difficult to kill at school, and those two girls couldn't hold back a word for a long time, so they had to leave. It's true that Xiaoyuan angered them with just a few words. I don't think they have much ability to still talk to others here. Qianyu casually agreed and thought that due to his own reasons, these things that were originally a few months later have now happened, and the collapse is probably not much different. Sister, if you go to the rooftop now, maybe you can save a senior who is about to jump off the building. I have something else to do, so I'll leave it to you. I patted Qianyu's shoulder and then went downstairs to easily climb over the fence, riding the jungle raider to the location where he had just smelled the aura of the collapsing beast. He arrived at his destination. A massive supervisory-level collapsing beast appeared in front of Qianyu, so big. It seems like I have some good luck today, so the second hunting will begin. Qianyu took the Amazon Omega drive and knocked open the egg to eat, twisting the left handle of the drive. Omega, Amazon, Evolution, transformed into Amazon's Qianyu and made a big leap to the face of the collapsing beast, popping out his arm and cutting with a blade towards the body of the collapsing beast. The blood sprayed from the wound once again splashed onto Qianyu's body. The collapsed beast was very angry and roared to kill Qianyu in front of him, but Qianyu was too agile. All of the collapsed beast's attacks were dodged by Qianyu. Qianyu seized the opportunity and kicked the shattered beast with one strong kick. Then, Qianyu jumped onto the body of the shattered beast, crazily outputting blood all over the ground and the painful sound of the beast. Qianyu didn't care about all of this. Qianyu opened his mouth and bit a large piece of meat off the body of the collapsing beast, chewing on it. The collapsing beast extended its hand to attack Qianyu, but now the collapsing beast has nothing to do with Qianyu. Not only did Qianyu easily avoid his limbs, but he also became Qiyuan's food. Seeing how painful you are, let me send you on the road. Qianyu raised his hand and passed through the head of the shattered beast, pulling it out. During this time, tomato juice surged all over Qiyuan's body, so it was not obvious. Put your brain in your mouth and chew it. Yo, broken beast brain, 90% rare item. Gourmet. Qianyu gave a good evaluation. Well, we can't delay too much time, so let's have a quick battle and make a quick decision. Qiyuan's eating speed increased a bit, and in no time, all the supervisory level collapse beasts were eaten up by Qianyu. Qianyu still ate his mouth full of oil, which shows how delicious the collapsing beast was. This time Qianyu lifted his transformation and rode on a jungle raider to his old place, flipping inside and slowly walking back to the classroom. What caught the eye were talking and laughing Yai and Qianyu. Chapter 5. Third Collapse. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaoyuan, you're back. Qianyu looked at Qianyu at the door and pulled him to Yai's face. Yai, this is my younger brother Qianyu. He also told me about your situation on the rooftop, so that I can come and save you. Qianyu enthusiastically introduced Qianyu to Yai. Hello, my name is Thunderbolt Yai. My name is Qianyu. Nice to meet you. As I watched the gradual and intense collapse around Yai, I believe the third eruption of the collapse is not far away. It should be in these few days. I don't know if the plot may go wrong again due to my own reasons. I hope not. I can call you Sister Yai, right? Yai was stunned for a moment before responding. Of course you can, Sister Yai, you probably haven't had a meal yet. Just now, my sister and I are going home, so why don't you come over and have a meal? Okay, Yai originally wanted to refuse, but for some reason, she looked at Qianyu's expectant gaze and Qiyuan's amiable smile, and by some means agreed. Qianyu and Qianyu returned to their home with Yai. Qianyu asked the two of them to sit down for a while and cook by themselves. Yai originally intended to help out, but she was locked outside the kitchen by Qianyu for the reason of being a guest, and Qianyu also ran over to play games with Yai. In no time, Qianyu walked out of the kitchen carrying the last dish. It's time for both of you to eat. Qianyu untied his apron and walked up to them. Qianyu quickly arrived at the dining table and sat on a chair to start cooking. Xiaoyuan's rice is still so delicious. Compared to Qianyu's crazy dry rice, Yai ate it very dignified. Alright, sister, there's no one to compete with you. Don't eat so quickly. I know, but it's really delicious. Yai, who was watching this warm scene on the side, finally smiled. Qianyu saw this scene and his mouth curved slightly. In such a happy atmosphere, Yai's mood has also improved a lot after finishing the meal. Yai stayed for a while and then prepared to go home. I'll send you off, Sister Yai. It's not safe for you as a girl to go home. Yai originally wanted to say no, but couldn't resist Qian's enthusiasm and still sat on the forest robber's seat. In no time, Qian delivered Yai to her doorstep. Xiaoyuan, thank you for bringing me back. It's nothing, after all, we're friends. Yai was stunned for a moment. Is she a friend? She also has friends now. Sister Yai, hurry in. It's getting late, I'll leave first. Qian turned the front of the car and his figure quickly left Yai's sight. Yai opened the door and walked in, but not far from the door of the Yai family, a man is looking over here, holding something in his hand, preparing to launch Plan A. It is expected that Thunder's Law will fully recover at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. I know you should come back. I will let Blonia come. Received. The next morning, the entire Chongqing city was covered in a collapsed cage, and Qian and Qianyu naturally felt it too. It seems that the old fox from Cocolia has already taken action. It seems that the plot has already deviated from the original track. Forget it, go find your sister first. Qian opened the door and saw that Qianyu was already ready with a baseball bat. Sister, let's go find Sister Yai. Qianyu nodded and followed behind Qian with a baseball bat. The dead on the way were basically killed with just one punch and one strike. after all, it's just the early stage of the collapse outbreak. The strongest one along the way was nothing more than a night-level collapse beast, so it was easy. Qianyu summoned the forest raider and took Qianyu to Yai's home. At the entrance of Yai's house, a tank-level collapsing beast was constantly hitting the door, and Qianyu held down Qianyu, who wanted to go to battle. "Xiaoyuan, what are you doing? Yai is very dangerous now." Qianyu's tone was a bit anxious. She was afraid that the next second, the collapsing beast would open the door and kill Yai. "Don't worry, sister. Let me rest assured that nothing will happen." Qianyu looked at Qianyu and finally agreed. In her impression, Qianyu didn't seem to be someone who could do foolish things. "And isn't she still here?" Seeing Qianyu agreeing, Qianyu stood up and took out the Amazon Omega Drive to wear on his waist. "What is that?" Qianyu wouldn't want to use that thing to defeat the broken beast, would he? Qianyu was ready to go and save Qianyu. Qianyu twisted the left handle after eating an egg. Amazon. Chapter 6. Encountering Blonia and facing the collapsed beast group. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Amazon Omega Evolution. The powerful steam will bounce away from the collapsing beast rushing towards her, and Qianyu, standing beside her, looks at Qianyu in shock. When did Qianyu have such armor? How come I don't know? Qianyu also wants to have such armor so that she can play handsome in front of Yai and Qianyu. When Qianyu was still in Qianyu stepped forward and threw the collapsing beast to the ground, using his sharp claws to crazily attack it. The collapsing beast had no resistance. Such a bloody and violent combat style made Qianyu vomit on the spot. During the battle, Qianyu was unaware of how much damage his brutal and bloody combat style had caused to Qianyu's young soul. The disintegrating beast threw Qianyu to the tree on one side. When he was about to hit the tree, he adjusted his position in the air and landed his feet on the trunk. With the help of the trunk of the tree, Qianyu quickly stepped on his feet and approached the shattered beast, cutting off its arm with a blade. In an instant, Qianyu took advantage of his victory to pursue and picked up the arm of the broken beast, smashing it down. He raised his left hand high and pierced through the body of the broken beast. After struggling a few times, the collapsed beast remained motionless. Qianyu turned his back to Qianyu and nibbled on its body and arms before reluctantly releasing his transformation and returning to Qianyu's side. "Sister, I'm sorry I didn't scare you earlier, right?" Qianyu felt a bit embarrassed. After all, it was just his own way of fighting, so it's strange not to be scared. However, Qianyu didn't say much, considering that Qianyu was her younger brother. She just said, "Try to restrain yourself next time." Then he pulled him open the door of Yai's house and walked in, only to see Yai lying on the ground and unable to stand up. Qianyu and Qianyu quickly ran to Yai's side to check their condition, but fortunately Yai just fainted and everything else was not a big deal. Qianyu picked up Yai on the bed and covered her with a blanket. Then he sat down and waited with Qianyu for Yai to wake up. After a few hours, Yai slowly opened her eyes and looked at Qianyu sitting in the chair. "What's wrong with me? My head hurts so much." Yai rubbed her head to relieve some pain. When she saw Yai wake up, Qianyu told her what had just happened. In addition to beautifying her own battle, Qianyu beside her twitched her lips. If it weren't for just seeing the scene of Qiyuan's battle, she would have truly believed it. "By the way, Sister Yai, why are you lying on the ground?" Normally, Yai should have been ready to go to bed, but why is Yai lying on the ground again today? "I don't know, yesterday after you left, something knocked me unconscious and woke up to see you all." Qianyu lost in thought. He really deviated from the plot, but he didn't know how much he deviated from it. But now, he can only take one step and watch one step at a time. "Okay, it's okay if we can't remember. Let's leave here now." Yai and Qianyu followed behind Qianyu to prevent the collapse beast from attacking. "Look ahead, there seems to be someone there." Yai and Qianyu looked towards Qianyu and found a person lying on the ground. The three of them rushed to her side and found that she was still breathing. They were ready to take her to a safe place just as Qianyu and the others were about to leave. One collapsing beast after another was rushing towards them. With an excited expression on his face, Qianyu handed them over to Qianyu. "Take out the Amazon Omega Drive and walk towards the collapsed herd of beasts." Chapter 7. Massacre. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Amazon. Omega. The green steam overturned the nearby collapse beast, and Qianyu grabbed the nearest progressive collapse beast with a slight force. The weak and advancing collapsing beast was instantly crushed by Qianyu, and blood splattered everywhere. Qiyuan's side was also stained with some blood. Turning around and kicking the tank-level shattered beast, he opened his mouth and bit on the large artery around the neck of the beast, tearing off a large piece of flesh. Blood gushed out like a fountain. This terrifying scene made the surrounding collapsing beasts afraid to come forward. In the distance, Qiya and her companions only felt a tumultuous sensation in their stomachs. Fortunately, Qianyu didn't vomit this time, but Yai didn't have such a good time. From childhood to adulthood, it was Yai's first time seeing such a bloody scene. Seeing such a bloody scene without fainting is already Yai's limit. Qian's face was covered in blood, and his cold gaze towards the surrounding collapsed beasts made them take a step back. Qian sneered and jumped off the body of the collapsed beast. Violent break. Qian grabbed the right grip and pulled out a spear, which appeared in his hand. Qian rushed towards the shattered beasts and raised his spear, stabbing 3 of them to death. After pulling out the spear, he threw it all his strength at the 3 inspector-level collapse beasts and nailed them to the wall, dodging their attacks sideways. Qian killed all the vandalizing beasts in front of him and looked at the supervisory-level vandalizing beasts nailed to the wall. He quickly stepped forward to pull out his spear and put it back in place. He twisted his left grip to release the necessary kill. Violent punish. The blade of the wrist flicked out Qian's sword and eliminated them, splattering blood that made Qian look very terrifying. At this moment the shattered beasts ran away one by one upon seeing such a violent scene, but how could Qian let them escape? Summoning the jungle raiders and pulling the Amazon whip, a 20-minute massacre was carried out, and only a few shattered beasts managed to escape in the end. During this period, there were also many collapsing beasts attacking Yai and her companions, but they were all easily solved by Yai and her companions. And on the streets after the massacre, there was blood all over the ground and collapsed animal corpses everywhere, with a pungent smell constantly hitting the noses of Qiya and her companions. After Qian noticed their condition, he lifted his transformation and took them away from this place. At this time, it was also time for Xingxing to have lunch. Qian sniffed the unpleasant and bloody smell around him, but it finally subsided. Qian opened a door and walked in with Qiana and the others. Qian sat on the sofa while the other side of the imperial family was eating the meal just made by Yai. However, Qiana and Yai's appetite greatly diminished when they thought about the scene just now. After taking a few bites, I had the urge to vomit again, and the duck that had just woken up and didn't know what had just happened was eating happily. After eating, it is impossible for Duck and Qiana not to argue for a while, even as classmates and comrades in arms in the future. At this moment, Qian looked at his 5,800 night points and opened the lottery page, clicking on the lottery. A virtual roulette wheel appeared in front of Qian. The pointer on the wheel slowly slows down and finally points towards something. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a shattered divine meteorite sword. Qian. Aren't you a knight system? Why do broken things appear in the lottery? Also, do you count me as a knife? Qian looked at the broken god meteor sword lying in the system space and fell into contemplation, while the system seemed to see Qian's doubts and began to explain them to him. I forgot to mention, the full name of this system is Crash Knight. The system can naturally draw things related to the Crash world. Didn't you say your lottery scope is only limited to Amazon, Old 10 Years, and Extreme Fox? The system has also started to engage in fraud in these years of relationships. What I'm talking about is the night range, not the collapse range. You blamed me for not asking clearly. Qian. Be good and play with me on text loopholes, right? You're not really a system. Qian gave the system a blank glance in his heart, but he didn't say anything more. Chapter 8. Battle. Dragonfly Amazon. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The next day, Qian and his group finished their meal and prepared to leave Chongqing City. Where are we going, Xiaoyuan? Qiana tilted her head and looked ahead at Qiuan. Of course it's leaving Chongqing City to go somewhere else, although it said, in reality, Qi Yuan was waiting. When the Hubert Ryan appeared, they naturally became students of Saint Freya, so this is the reason why Qi Yuan and his team have been walking for so long and haven't left. Otherwise, if the imperial family didn't enter Saint Freya due to their own reasons, it would be a sin. How long do we have to walk? Is Chongqing City so big? Qianyu had a look of helplessness on her face. She didn't understand why they had to leave for at least 2 hours, right? Why haven't they left yet? Seeing that everyone is tired, let's go take a break first and then leave later. Qi Yuan opened the door of a house and walked in, taking care of the original owner before starting to rest. Just during this period, Qi Yuan kept smelling a scent, but he didn't know what kind of creature it was, and Blonia happened to come to Qi Yuan's face. Brother Qi Yuan, please tell Blonia what kind of creature you are, and all the indicators of your body are not heights that humans can reach. Blonia, what do you mean by this? I've been with Qi Yuan for so long, and I don't know if he's human. Qi Yuan said to Qianyu before he could speak. Stupid Qianyu, Blonia won't make a mistake. You. Alright, sister. Blonia's right. I'm not really human. Sister, you should know that an ordinary child can survive in that kind of ice and snow for no more than 20 minutes. Qi Yuan's words fiercely challenged Qi Yana's 3 perspectives. How could Qi Yuan, who had lived with her for so long, really not be human? But so what, Qi Yuan didn't harm her. Having this is enough. As for my true identity, let's wait until we are truly safe. After all, we need to entertain some guests now. Qi Yuan quickly took out the drive and transformed into an Amazon Omega, staring at the door. Qianyu and the 3 of them also reacted and quickly took out their weapons to be prepared. Bang! The iron gate fell off and smashed towards Qi Yuan, who was leaning against the gate. Qi Yuan raised his hand and tore the iron gate in half, smashing it to both sides. At the entrance, a monster similar to a dragonfly appeared with 3 tank-level collapse beasts in front of everyone. When Qi Yuan saw it clearly, his body trembled suddenly, and in front of him was the strange dragonfly among Amazon. The difference is that he has some purple stripes on his body, which seems to have absorbed the scattered collapse around him to become this way. Although I don't understand why it appeared in this crumbling world, leaving it unchecked can lead to big trouble. Besides, it seems that this dragonfly Amazon is here for them. Go outside. Qi Yuan summoned everyone to the outside, and 3 shattered beasts walked towards Qi Yana and the others. Now only he and Dragonfly Amazon are left. Qi Yuan took the lead in cutting the Dragonfly Amazon with a knife, and black blood slowly flowed out of the wound. Taking advantage of his victory, Qi Yuan chased and kicked the Dragonfly Amazon to the side with a whip leg, but it was not a vegetarian either. It quickly seized the opportunity when Qi Yuan attacked, and Dragonfly Amazon dodged Qi Yuan's attack and kicked him down with a backhand side kick. Subsequently, a series of combos were shouted at Qi Yuan, and Qi Yuan seized the opportunity to pull out the Amazon spear to block the Dragonfly Amazon's attack. Pop open the legs of the Dragonfly Amazon and stab it at close range, then throw it aside. When throwing it out, black blood drips onto Qi Yuan's body. Qi Yuan, who is already painted, doesn't care at all. On the other side, the abdomen pierced by the Dragonfly Amazon oozed a large amount of blood, and with the injuries he had just suffered in battle, he no longer had the strength to resist. Qi Yuan retracts the Amazon spear and twists the left grip to release the ultimate kill. Violent punish. Qi Yuan's arm blade popped out and cut the Dragonfly Amazon in half. The split Dragonfly Amazon instantly turned into a puddle of black water. Kill a Dragonfly on Amazon to earn 5,000 night points. Qi Yuan looked at the other side of the battlefield, and at this moment, the shattered beast had already been killed by the 3 people. He watched as the shattered beast Qi Yuan walked towards them, and Yai and Qianyu had already guessed what Qi Yuan was going to do, so they blindfolded Blonia and turned around together. Blonia. Qi Yuan grabbed the arm of the shattered beast and pulled it off, blood splattering everywhere. He put his arm into his mouth, chewed it, and swallowed it. The sound he made was also heard by the blindfolded duck. A normal person knows that this is the sound of eating, but now everyone knows what Qi Yuan is doing. The duck's face turned a bit ugly. Is Qi Yuan eating a disintegrating beast? But he's not a human, so it seems like there's no problem eating a disintegrating beast. Right after waiting for a while, Qianyu also finished eating. He lifted his transformation in Qianyu and the three of them turned around. Brother Qianyu, were you eating the collapsed beast just now? Although she already knew, Blonia couldn't help but ask. For me, I was just recovering from an injury, and Amazon can rely on high protein to recover from the injury. Collapsing beasts can be considered a good supplement. The sky darkened, and everyone looked up to see a huge warship parked on their heads. At that moment, a red-haired woman landed next to them, and the warship slowly descended and stopped to one side. Hello, I am the Heavenly Destiny A.Level Valkyrie Wuliang Tajizi. I am here to take you to St. Freya Academy. Let's go. Wuliang Tajizi looked at Qianyu in surprise and took them to Suburban to fly to St. Freya Academy. Chapter 9. The Origin of Amazon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You and I can go in. The dean is inside. GZ pushed open the door and walked in with everyone. You're here. The crowd looked for a voice and uploaded it to the empty space. It seemed like they hadn't seen the person making the sound for a long time. I'm here. Looking down, everyone looked down and saw a little loli with the same white hair and a puff of anger as Qianyu appear in front of them. It turned out that the table was too high and blocked her. Little sister, do you know where the college president is? Qianyu's words made Delisa's face instantly gloomy in front of her, and the emitted breath couldn't help but make the three of them silently step back, except for Qianyu. Who are you saying is the little sister? As expected, Qianyu's head was carrying a big bag to seek comfort from Yai and Qianyu, and they also learned that the little loli in front of her was the college president. Alright, Qianyu, don't you want to know where your dad is? Qianyu ran to Delisa as soon as she heard this. Do you know where my dad is? Just tell me. Qianyu kept shaking Delisa. Qianyu saw Delisa as if she was about to be knocked unconscious and walked forward to pull her apart. Delisa paused for a while before speaking. Your dad is currently in a dangerous place, and I can't tell you yet. As you and Qiyuan's aunt, I can't let you take this risk. After that, Delisa sat back in her chair and used physical methods to make Qianyu believe she was their aunt. The next question is about Miss Yai. Your core of the lawmaker has fully awakened and there is a risk of losing control at any time. Although we cannot let the core of the lawmaker in your body fall asleep again, we can install a device on your body to suppress it. Do you think this is okay? Yai thought for a moment before nodding in agreement, and Delisa nodded in satisfaction. Oh, by the way, Qianyu, can you explain to me what kind of creature this is? I know you must know about this creature. The holographic projection appeared in front of everyone, and the picture above was the dragonfly Amazon that Qianyu had just killed. After thinking for a while, Qianyu finally told Delisa that he believed Delisa would not harm him. I'm not sure about the exact origin of this creature called Amazon. There are many of them, specifically over 1,000. They surpass C.level Valkyrie in any aspect. Stronger ones are all at the level of judgment level collapse beasts, and their recovery ability is very strong. They only need to eat high-protein foods to recover, which can also be understood as only eating meat but not vegetarian. Hearing this, Delisa interrupted Qianyu. Are you saying that these creatures rely on consuming high-protein foods to recover from injuries and only eat meat instead of being vegetarian? Is that why humans are also in their category? Delisa suddenly thought to herself for some reason. That's right. Humans are also in their category and they are still a big supplement to them, so their staple food is humans, Qianyu said. The entire office fell into a half-dead silence, and after a while, Delisa spoke up. So? How did you know? Delisa thought to herself that she found Qianyu in the ice and snow, and at that time, Qianyu was only 3 or 4 years old. An ordinary adult staying there for a while would freeze to half-death, let alone a child, probably frozen to death long ago. Suddenly, a dangerous thought appeared in Delisa's mind and Qianyu's next words confirmed her idea. Because I am the same as them, but I basically don't know how to eat people. But the premise is that I'm not too hungry, but I've never eaten people before. Otherwise, how did my sister survive until now? Everyone looked at Qianyu. Qianyu thought for a moment, and it seemed like Qianyu had never eaten anyone or hurt her after spending so much time with her. Okay, that's it for now. You guys should live with Jeezy because there's no male dormitory, Qianyu. You should also live with Jeezy. In the end, Qianyu also started their cohabitation life, but it was a bit strange. Chapter 10. Exam Accidents. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Why are you on my bed again? Stupid Qianyu. Blonia has been woken up by you. Hey. Shouldn't the culprit be Aunt Jeezy? Qianyu. No, Jeezy. Teacher, listen to my explanation. Ah. Qianyu opened his eyes and looked at the ceiling with lifeless eyes. Every morning, Qianyu would be awakened by Qianyu and her companions, which ultimately led to him being unable to sleep and having to wake up this time. He was no exception. He was forced to turn on again. Qianyu sighed and lifted the blanket, changed his clothes, brushed his teeth, washed his face, opened the door, and walked out. He happened to bump into Jeezy in front of him. Sorry, Teacher Jeezy, are you okay? Qianyu quickly helped Jeezy up. I'm fine, Xiaoyuan. Please take a closer look next time, otherwise it's easy to bump into people. Alright, let's go have breakfast. Jeezy took Qianyu to the dining table and started eating breakfast. Does Xiaoyuan's meal suit your taste? Why don't I add some meat for you? Ever since Yai found out that Qianyu is Amazon, she worries about whether she adds enough meat. No need. Although I am Amazon, I am not at the point where I cannot survive without meat. Although Qianyu was speechless, he was also kind, wasn't he? After finishing their meal, Yai and the others came to the classroom. As soon as they arrived, Qianyu took out his textbook and started flipping through it. The three people next to him had already become accustomed to it. After all, they all said he wants to be an Amazon with only culture. Sister, if you don't take a look, you may fail the exam this time. Qianyu, who was reading, thought that Qianyu was her own sister after all, so she should remind her. As for Qianyu, if she doesn't read it, she won't know. I want to become the strongest Valkyrie, even if I don't read books and these things, I will. At this moment, Qianyu was very swollen, like a pufferfish. I don't know what expression my sister will have when she sees her failing grades, but Qianyu shook his head and continued reading. Having confidence is a good thing for Qianyu, but don't underestimate the female martial arts god exam. As the ancient said, pride will surely defeat. Wow. It's Sister Fu Hua. Sister is still so handsome today. I want to give birth to a monkey for Sister Fu Hua. As soon as Fu Hua appeared, these female classmates appeared extremely excited, but our Qianyu completely didn't understand what Fu Hua was saying. Although you have exceptional talent, you must not rush for quick success or instant benefits. Be careful not to be too hasty, but not too fast. This sentence prevented Qianyu's CPU from turning around. Of course I know that. Really, that was my mistake. Fu Hua turned around and left, while Qianyu took a few deep breaths before barely laughing. Is she scolding me? Qianyu, who was transferred by the CPU, seemed to understand Fu Hua's meaning. I think she just wants you to take the exam seriously, right? Yes, yes. Fool, team battle. Yai Blonia. Qianyu fought against the tank-level collapse beast, but after some effort, she still managed to kill it. Next is Qianyu. As there is no one left, he has his own team. System task. Reward for passing the first exam. 5,000 night points. Random mysterious creature seal card. This is still Qianyu's first time receiving a system task. Before this, the system was so meticulous that there were almost no tasks. This time, a small exam exploded. Isn't it easy for him to pass the exam? The system is giving me something for nothing. At this moment, a shattered beast's virtual shadow slowly solidified and appeared in front of Qianyu, but in the next moment, Qianyu was stunned by the collapse of the virtual shadow of the collapsed beast just now, and was replaced by the Dragonfly Amazon, who had been killed before. The students below are also very puzzled. What kind of creature is this? It doesn't look like a collapsing beast either. It seems like a monster that appeared in the news a few days ago. What is it called, Mama Zone, dot. You mispronounced, Amazon, dot. Although it's a bit sudden, I've already defeated you once, and it's not bad this time. Qianyu took out the drive and turned it into Amazon Omega. This armor is so handsome. Yeah, I really want a set too. Most people drool as they look at Amazon Omega, while others feel that this armor is just mediocre and not useful. Let me see if it's your strong data or your strong ontology. Qianyu quickly approached it and kicked the Dragonfly Amazon with a spinning kick, knocking it to the ground and causing cracks on the floor. Qianyu seized the Dragonfly Amazon's right hand and forcefully pulled it down, taking advantage of his victorious pursuit. The torn arm instantly dissipated into data. Dragonfly Amazon also stood up and kicked towards Qianyu. Qianyu raised his hands to his chest to block its attack, but was still slightly shaken back. It seems that you are not strong enough in your own right. After all, it's just a string of data. Qianyu grabbed Dragonfly Amazon's leg and threw it out. After standing up, Dragonfly Amazon once again attacked Qianyu and dodged by twisting the left grip to release the ultimate kill. Violent punish. The right arm blade popped out. Qianyu grabbed the Dragonfly Amazon, and his right hand passed through the Dragonfly Amazon's chest. Qianyu pulled the Dragonfly Amazon upwards, causing it to split in half and dissipate data. Reward for completing tasks: 5,000 night points, 1 random mysterious creature seal card. Amidst the cheers of the crowd, Qianyu lifted his transformation and returned to everyone's side. On the way back, Qianyu took out his card, but it was of no use. I asked the system, and they said they will wait until they have their own drive in the future. So Qianyu put away his card and chased after the 3 people ahead.